G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. I've restarted this video a number of times now, and I'm gonna try do this one without screaming and yelling a bit too much, because I don't know what to say. If you're a Brumbies fan, I'm sure you are extremely disappointed. Probably way more disappointed than I am. Quite frankly, I always put this to the problem with the coaches. The players hasn't been held accountable at the levels they offer the need that is required to be a professional athlete, that is required to perform at the levels that could be funneled up to the Wallabies. That's what I think is going wrong with Brumbies, and I think this game really showed the lack of accountability on the players, the lack of preparation from the coaches, and just the lack of clarity in terms of what the coaches want from the players was on full display tonight from the Brumbies. The two areas we talked about last week that the Brumbies did really poorly got even worse this week. Number one, the line out and set piece. Boy, the Brumbies backed themselves a number of times to go for the try because they were behind on score, which was the right decision, only to lose their lineouts again and again and again on their own throw inside the Hurricanes 22. They lost 3 lineouts following a penalty inside the Hurricanes 22. Not just like, we got the line out, we set the maul, and the maul got sacked or something, or didn't even get the ball from their own throw. Yeah. Number 2, the problem with the mindless kicking the ball away last week only got worse this week. I wrote down here, even the commentators in New Zealand has noticed this, that the Brumbies have no idea what they wanted to do with the ball, and they're just kicking the ball away. In fact, there was one point I was telling my friend that the Brumbies, I actually joked. I said the Brumbies are playing rugby league. They're going to kick the ball away after 5 faces. And as soon as I said that, on the 5th face, the Brumbies kicked the ball away. Because they have no idea what to do with the ball. And the problem with kicking the ball away, it's not the fact that teams kick the ball, the Hurricanes kick the ball away as well, right? But the Hurricanes, the players understood what they wanted to get out of the kicking. To be really frank with you, some of the box kicks from Cameron Roygard, I thought were just pointless. Didn't really go far enough, but they were able to recycle the ball. They were able to pressure it really well and get the ball back again and again and again and again. Even though the box kicks only went like 5 meters or 10 meters. Seemingly pointless. In fact, I would argue some of those were pretty poor kicks. But they got their ball back because the other team players understood what the strategy was, how to get the ball back, and what to do after to get the ball back. The Brumbies just kicked the ball away, no pressure, no chases. All right, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the Hurricanes wants to do. Let's see what the Kiwis want to do, and let's go from there. In addition to the 2 key areas from last week that needed to be improved, this week, the defense was absolutely atrocious. This defense from the Brumbies, we're going to go through the stats in a minute, is so bad, I actually don't remember any Super Rugby team has this many missed tackles in one game. I honestly don't know when was the last time I saw something this bad. And I literally watch every Super Rugby game. I don't remember this has ever been this bad, ever. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've ever seen a tier 1 nation playing a tier 2 nation where the missed tackle count was this bloody high. Let's have a look at it now whilst we're on the topic. 51 missed tackles. Let's have a look at defenders beaten. 51 defenders beaten for the Hurricanes. The most basic, fundamental part of the game. Not because the players don't know how to tackle. Not because the Hurricanes are athletic freaks. You can't tackle them. Tackling is an attitude. To make the tackle is an attitude. The players do not have the attitude to put their bodies on the line and make the tackle. That's why there's 51 missed tackles. Because the players have mentally checked out of the game. And let's just watch this final bit of play. And this sums up everything you need to know about this Brumbies team and their performance tonight. And I'm sorry, if you're a Brumbies fan, this is horrendous. So we can see here, I think that's Morby. He kicked the ball through. Maybe not, who was it? Morby or someone? Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can see here, right? There's one, two, the Sapsford, I think. There's two Brumbies players actually ahead of Morby. I don't know if that's Morby, but anyway. There's two Brumbies players ahead of him in the chase for this ball. This guy has already given up. This guy, clearly ahead, and he gives up because he sees Muirhead coming across. Instead of taking the initiative himself to get the ball secured, or maybe scoop up the ball and pop the Muirhead, he's gone, yeah, you got this, right? Muirhead overruns the ball. Oh, how many Brumbies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Brumbies all in position to get the ball. None of them did. None of them committed themselves to get this ball. And obviously, Hurricanes get a bit of pop off. And let's have a look at this try at the end here, right? There is 1, 2, 3, 4 Brumbies players could be coming across to cover this player, this guy. Okay? Now, one of them probably needs to stay back for the inside ball. Okay? And that should be Muirhead. No, everybody goes for him. Despite the fact that you have 4 players potentially making the tackle, no one was able to make the tackle. No one. 0 out of 4. This guy had no right to score this. And he just runs straight through. Honestly. Is this even a professional team at this point? Do you think any of the players from the Brumbies team, other than maybe Corey Toole, should be even considered for the Wallabies at this point? Like, usually team, after losing at home, right? Historical loss against Fiji for the first time. Usually the team comes out the next week, taking a step forward. The Brumbies has come out and taken another step back. There's no resilience, no pride, no professionalism. Utter dog shit. Absolute dog shit out there from the Brumbies. So, 10 Edmed this week actually got 40 minutes. He actually the one that, out of all the kicking, I thought maybe he kicked a 50-22. Maybe his kicking was a little bit better than some of the other ones. I did notice that Edmed's organization, in terms of the attacking structure, looked pretty decent. The first try, he organized it really well. A nice little backdoor play. And then he got the little pass out wide to get Corey Toole set up for an inside ball for the first try for the Brumbies. But yeah, I think Edmed needs more time, just more, off the field work in terms of getting bigger in size and getting fitter and getting faster. So He really needs some more like physical development off the field, conditioning in the gym. But I do think that he's definitely showing more organization around the back line than Meredith, at least in this game. For the Hurricanes, I thought Jordy Barry had a pretty terrible game today. I don't know. He looked really out of it. Is he sick or something, or do you have bad night's sleep? He really looked out of it tonight for Jordy Barrett from the Hurricanes. But outside of that, I mean, the Brumbies were so horrendous. The Hurricanes really didn't have to do much. Really did not have to do much to win this game. There weren't that many. Like the kicking wasn't that great. The attacking wasn't. There was some stupid kicking as well from the Hurricanes, in my opinion. But they didn't matter because the Brumbies was so horrendous. It was like running at people who don't want to play, who has completely without no intent to actually make tackles. It doesn't really matter if your kicking game or Jordy Barrett's having a bad day, right? Anoffel, what is his name? Flying Anoffel scored 4 tries. 4 tries against the Brumbies. Just unbelievable, right? And the scrum was actually 50-50. I thought Paul Williams didn't let the scrum play on a little bit more. Was a little bit weird. There were times where the scrum just, like the teams were really, really close, and sometimes the heads would press against the shoulders, and Paul Williams just short arm a bunch of times because of the early engagement issues. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think either team had the dominance in the scrummaging. But yeah, that's beside the point for the Brumbies. Now, one last thing, I just want to ask, did they change the law on the 22-meter clearance? Because, I know they changed the law on the 50-22. You can pass the ball back into your own half and kick a 50-22. But did they also make that you can pass the ball back into your own 22 and then kick the ball out on the full? Because this bit here, the Brumbies are clearly outside the 22, right? Clearly outside the 22. And they're going to do a crash inside the 22. So that's passed back into the 22, right? And Lonergan's able to kick the ball out on the full here. Did they change the law? Did they change the law? What is happening here? Someone please explain this one to me. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, Super Rugby, they change the law all the time. Maybe they did change the law. But I'm not aware that this was a law change. But hey, please let me know. So outside of that, let's have a look at the horrendous statistic for the Brumbies. 499 run meters for the Hurricanes. The Brumbies 481. So not too many differences in run meters. 133 carries, 120, not much difference. 51 defenders beaten to the 16 for the Brumbies, right? Because Brumbies didn't want to make tackles, looks like. 18 turnovers conceded, quite even there. 143 tackles to 152, even a pretty similar tackle amount. 16 missed tackles for the Hurricanes. 51 for the Brumbies. Yeah. Kicks in play, 35 for the Hurricanes, 34 for the Brumbies. I thought both teams kicking in was a little bit off. 2 missed conversions for Lubin Love. 1 miss for the Brumbies. 1,100 kick meters for the Hurricanes. 897 for the Brumbies. Let's have a look at this. Lineouts. 15 lineouts for the Hurricanes. 1 lost. 9 for the Brumbies. 3 lost. All 3 were penalties that they chosen to go for the lineout inside the opposition 22. Yeah. Scrums quite even. No scrum loss for both teams. 7 and 8. Penalties conceded. 8 against the Hurricanes. 5 against the Brumbies. So the Brumbies actually had better discipline in that regard. But boy, that is so bad. I genuinely cannot tell you the last time I saw a team hit 50 in missed tackles. I genuinely cannot tell you when was the last time I saw such a horrendous missed tackle count. I don't even think I've seen it in Tier 1 against Tier 2 teams to this sort of numbers, to be really frank with you. But hey, Brumbies definitely creating some records here for everyone to remember. So let's have a look at the quick recap of the game. There's not too much to talk about. So 6 minutes into the game, the Brumbies was just kicking the ball away, couldn't find the exit. Ruben Love counter attack through a little gap, and then the quick ball came out over the top to Far Anoffel, ran in through a gap, 7 points to nil. 20 minutes in the game, the Hurricanes backed themselves again, not taking the 3. They went for the line out, the ball came out, a little bit of backdoor play. I think it was Jordy Barrett involved. A bit of flat, a backdoor, and then just getting around the rush defense over the top to Anoffel, ran through a gap on second try, 14 points to nil. 37 minutes in the game, there was just missed tackles everywhere. This is only half time. The Brumbies players look tired. Everybody's upright, just, playing touch football at this point. Billy Proctor got the ball, again, midfield, over the top, the rush defense to Anoffel, who ran down the sideline, steps back in field, on Jem's slipper. Try time, 19 points to nil. Just before half time, the Brumbies try to go for, try to end the half with one try, and Meredith kicked the ball dead. Yeah, and after that, Edmund comes onto the field. 45 minutes. Edmund actually set up the first try quite nicely. There was a little backdoor play, double backdoor play. So it was one backdoor, and then the second backdoor play to Edmund, and he did a little cutout pass to Corey Two, who ran down the sideline, passed the back, ball in field to Fairly Uai, who ran through for the first try, 19 points to 5. 50 minutes, the ball went wide for Hurricanes midfield. Almua ran down the sideline, kicked the ball through. The hooker, Almua, the hooker, kicked the ball through. And then again, I think the commentary said this was an attitude issue. We saw Morby chasing this, and then I think it was Muirhead maybe chasing this, and Morby just got that before. Maybe it was Edmund, but we just saw that the Hurricanes get there first, right? Morby got the ball. He ran through, steps in field, missed tackle again, try, 26 points to 5. 57 minutes into the game, Valentini threw a pass to nobody. The ball lands on the ground, and the ball was kicked through by Anoffel again. It was a bit of foot race. I think this was Anoffel, between Anoffel and Edmund, and Edmund had no chance of catching him. He gets through, scooped the ball up. Another try, 33 points to 5. 61 minutes. It looked like the Brumbies could have scored this. One of the new locks was on the field, I think. He could have easily passed it to Edmund, and he tried to go for himself and then failed to go on the ball on the line. No try. And Edmund was wide open. I don't know what's going on here. 68 minutes. Corey Toole finally put a miracle out of the bag. Intercepted a pass from Billy Proctor. Ran 60 meters for the try. 33 points to 12. 75 minutes in the game. Another ball just kicked down the field. It was a full race between Morby and Muirhead, I think, again. And then Morby gets it first. And then he scoops it up, runs in for the try. 38 points to 12. And then 79 minutes, we're to see this one. Another little kick through. 5-6 Brumbies couldn't get the ball. And the ball was spread out wide. And what's his name? Rover goes in, runs over 3 defenders to get the try. 45 points to 12. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I honestly don't think any of the Brumbies team, other than Corey Toole, should be considered for the Wallabies at this point. It is quite embarrassing and disappointing. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Cheers.